Find the locus of points px comma y such that p is equidistant from the point -5 comma 3 and the line x minus y plus 8 is equal to 0. So we want to use the distance formula on the left side of the equation. X minus -5, which is the same thing as plus 5 squared, plus y minus 3. Okay, this gives the distance from this point to this point, is equal to the distance from any point px comma y to the line. And we're not going to use this distance formula to find the distance from the point to a line, but rather we're going to use the formula which has the absolute value of the ax plus by plus c. Okay, so ax plus by, the x and y are coming from here. Okay, but the a, b, and c come from the coefficients. A is the coefficient of x, b is the coefficient of the y, and c is the constant here. So you're literally, because x and y are both matching the x and y here, it's not a given point like this, but it's rather any point, you're just literally copying this x minus y plus 8, the left side, here. Right, so that's pretty straightforward here. And dividing that by the sum of the a squared and b squared. Okay, a squared, a is 1, the coefficient of x, so we're talking about 1 squared plus b squared. B is -1, right? The coefficient of the y. -1 squared is the same thing as 1 squared, right? Doesn't make a difference. It's the same result. So as a result, what we have x squared plus 10x plus 25, accounting for this binomial being squared, plus y squared minus 6y plus 9, accounting for this binomial with the y's, is equal to x minus y plus 8, the absolute value of that, divided by radical 2, right? Because 1 plus 1 squared plus 1 squared is the same thing as 1 plus 1, which is 2. Radical 2 is the result. So now you want to square both sides. You want to square both sides. So if you square that, you will get x squared plus 10x plus 25 plus y squared minus 6y plus 9 is equal to, now if you square the absolute value, it's the same thing as just squaring this. Okay, it's the same thing. If you square the inside, it will make sure it's going to be positive when you square it, so the absolute value bar doesn't matter anymore, right? Squaring it means getting rid of the absolute value bar and just squaring the inside. Divided by 2, right? Because squaring the square root of 2 gets rid of the square root, right? So it's just 2. So now multiplying both sides by 2 gets rid of the fraction and just multiplies every single term here by 2, right? So we get 2x squared. I'm just going to copy this down. Minus 6y plus 9 is equal to x minus y plus 8 squared. So what this gives us is, and what I want to do, I want to subtract this guy on both sides. Subtract them, because we want to get everything on one side and have 0 on the other. Right? So what we're going to get is 2x squared plus 20x plus 50 plus 2y squared, I'm just distributing the 2, minus 12y plus 18. And then here I'm going to get this, minus x squared minus y squared, right? If you square this, you will basically square the trinomial, and the negative is only appearing once. That's why there's a minus x squared minus y squared. So you're going to have one product of the x and x, one product of the negative y and negative y, one product of the 8 and 8. But there's also two products of x and minus y. Right, so let's put 64. There's a minus sign, so it's going to be minus 64. Right, so now it's going to be two products of x and negative y. So minus 2xy with that minus is plus 2xy because there's a parent minus outside. Two products of 8 and negative y. So we're talking about minus 16y. That negative makes sure that it's plus 16y. And two products of 8 and x, which is 16x. The minus makes sure that it's minus 16x is equal to 0. So now we have to combine the like terms, obviously, right? These two are like terms. These two are like terms. These two are like terms. And these two are like terms, right? And the constants, of course, are like terms. That's very easy to see. So what you should get is this: x squared plus y squared plus 2xy plus 4x plus 4y plus 4 is equal to 0. Okay? And notice that this polynomial with 6 terms can be factored so that it looks like a perfect square, right? This polynomial of six terms is a perfect square. It can be expressed as a trinomial being squared, right? So remember we talked about this being two products of x, two products of negative y, two products of 8, one product of 8, one product of negative y being squared, one product of x being squared, two products of x and negative y, and it's basically combinations, right? Combinations of products. In the same way here, we're talking about a trinomial being squared and set to 0. So how do we factor this? We need a product of x and x, right? So obviously we will have an x as the first term because everything is squared outside. We will have a y squared, so we're going to need plus y. And y plus, because as you can see, everything is a plus after that. Every sign is positive, right? So I know it's going to be plus y and not minus y. This makes sure that we're going to get a y squared. Now 2xy. Notice that it already makes sense we're going to get 2xy because two products of x and y because of the square here will make sure we get 2xy. Now 4x, we should get a 4, right? To get a 4 we need to square the 2. So we need plus 2. So two products of 2y gives us 4y. That's great. That's accounted for here. Two products of 2x, that's going to be 4x. This is satisfied by this term, right? So everything is good. So this is how you factor. Square rooting both sides gives you the clean equation of the line. X plus y plus 2 is equal to 0. Square root of 0 is 0, right? So that doesn't change. So this is actually a line, right? The straight line. Now let's understand how this works. So we have a point and a line, and we need a line that is going to be equidistant from this point and this line. Notice that in order to do that, suppose that we have a line which is represented by x minus y plus 8. And well, I should draw a horizontal line. And again, I'm not drawing the exact line indicated here in the xy plane. I'm just drawing a line so you can see the concept. So suppose that this is x minus y plus 8 is equal to 0. So the point negative 5 comma 3 must be on it. Okay, it must be on it. And it doesn't have to be in the middle, right? Because we're talking about a line, not a line segment. So this is a never-ending line. So we can use arrowheads. So this can be this point negative 5 comma 3 must be on it. Why on it? Because this locus that we found is going to be perpendicular. Okay? This will be a perpendicular. Right? And why perpendicular? Because if it's not perpendicular, it's not going to be equidistant from this point and the line. Right? It must be perpendicular so that any point on this locus that we found, x plus y plus 2 is equal to 0, so we can put that x plus y plus 2 is equal to 0. So any point you choose on this line will be equidistant from the line and from the point, because the point is on that line. X minus y plus 8 is equal to 0. Right? So any point, you choose this point, it's also going to be the same distance from the line and the point at the same time. Because look what happens if it's not perpendicular. If it's not perpendicular or doesn't go through it, if it doesn't go through this point, choose any point on this line. It's not going to be equidistant, right, from this point and from the line. Right? It's going to be a different distance, right? It has to be the same distance. So it cannot be not perpendicular. It cannot not go through the line, through the point either. So it must go through the point and be perpendicular. Otherwise, it's not going to work. If it's just perpendicular, but doesn't go through the point, choose this point here, for example. If you choose a point here, it will be way closer to the line because it should be perpendicular than the point, right? So we know that it has to be perpendicular and must go through the line. So through the point. The point -5, 3 should be on this line. To check that algebraically, plug in -5, 3 and you will get 0 on the right side. So let's do that. So -5 for the x, -3 plus 8. What is that? That's -8 plus 8. Bingo. 0. Right? So that algebraically shows that -5, 3 is on this line. So we can say that this result is locus of points is a straight line perpendicular to line x minus y plus 8 is equal to 0 at the given point -5, 3. All right, so thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.